Do you feel a major shift happening right now? Like the ground under our feet is changing and the world around us is getting ready to move into something. I know a lot of people feel fear around this, but really we are stepping into something amazing. And all these once in a lifetime transits that we have that are going on astrologically now, they really lend to the idea that we are creating a new society. Old structures are falling away and new ones are being put in its place, ones that are authentic, ones that focus on truth. And one of those big transits that happening is, of course, Neptune moving into Aries. And now that happens on January 26th. And as it does, why I say this is a once in a lifetime event is because it will not be returning again to Aries in our lifetime. So it's definitely one of those things that's worth us paying attention to. Now, it is going to be staying here for quite some time. So from 2025 ish, 2026 to 2039. Now, Neptune is not a fast planet by any means. It's a planet of belief systems, imagination, spirituality, and collective emotion. And Aries, that is a sign of identity, courage, and action. So when Neptune lands here, it's about dreams and beliefs that are ready to take shape in the world, not just float around ideas, right? This is not about following louder voices, getting caught up in every trend, or blindly joining movements because you feel obligated to. This is about reclaiming your own truth, knowing what you believe, and having the courage to live your truth, not worried about what others think about your true beliefs. That's what Neptune in Aries represents. So to really get to it, let's look at what we're leaving behind. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011. Over a decade is where that guy has been. And now, even though Neptune rules the sign of Pisces, it has a positive side and then again it has a shadow side. So a little bit of both happened during this transit. Now, that definitely led to a decade of blurred boundaries where beliefs became very contagious and where emotions were often dictated by what others felt were necessary. There was a lot of my beliefs are based on what I feel others would want me to believe and standing up for others, which is great. That's a thing of Pisces and the empathy that it represents. Neptune going through there reinvented compassion and empathy and understanding where others are coming from. But on its shadow side, it can take on manipulation, and others really were able to find a way to manipulate that. And also, it was definitely a time where it could be easy to absorb other people's ideals, right? Instead of finding your own. Some people even felt society was throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I guess you could say at times. A lot of that cancel culture that was a part of it. Worthy causes sometimes going too far, leading to confusion or to extremes. Luckily, Saturn joined in with Neptune in Pisces in 2023, and that really started to reestablish balance. But now, as Neptune moves into Aries and where it's going to be there for quite some time, that unrelenting striving for utopia, it starts to recede. People are starting to see things a lot clearer. Life is returning to a new normal where we can carry forward the valuable lessons of the last decade without getting stuck in the excess of it. What Neptune in Aries brings for us is that it flips the script. It asks, who are you when you stop outsourcing your truth? What do you believe when there's no crowd to follow? And are you brave enough to live it authentically? It's not about reaction, it's about aligned action, living from your own inner authority with clarity and courage. Now, the last time that Neptune was in Aries was around 1861 to 1875. That was during the Civil War, a time that was really defined by big questions about identity and freedom and moral courage. And yes, that era had a lot of chaos. Yes, it did. But it also gave people a chance to stand for what was right and to act from conviction. Now, I want to be really clear about this because I think there's a lot of confusion out there. This doesn't mean that we're headed for another civil war, right? Astrology doesn't repeat events, it repeats themes. And the energy, yes, it's very similar now. We've got a lot of chaos. We've got a lot of threat from the media of civil war and civil upheaval. The energy is similar, but we have more awareness now. We have more information to work off of now, and we have more choice in how we respond. This is our chance to navigate it more consciously. And so Neptune moving through Aries, it's more than just the political shifts and the political changes, right? This is kind of where it gets a little bit exciting. It's also about personal change too, and it's about cultural and creativity changes. There's a lot that happens with that. Now, the last time Neptune was in Aries, it coincided with the Impressionist movement. Artists like Monet and Renoir, they broke completely with the past. They melted away the rigid lines of traditional art to focus on emotion, light, perspective. They made art about experience and feeling, not just representation. That ripple can be traced through modern and postmodern art, all starting there. So now we're entering a new creative cycle. So we can expect bold, innovative expression in art, in music, storytelling, and design, things that feel authentic, things that feel visceral and personal rather than trend driven, right? Things were getting stale and stagnant. And now that Neptune's moving back into Aries and we have all these technological advancements with AI, and that's especially with Uranus moving into Gemini, I'll do a video on that. There's so much more now that there's a Wild West frontier of creativity, and people are really going to start accessing that. So quietly supporting all of this too in the background, we have Pluto and Aquarius. Now, Pluto doesn't maintain system. It exposes systems that aren't real, that aren't working, and they're outdated. And Aquarius is about truth. It's about individuality, and it's about freedom and liberation from those systems. So while Neptune in Aries, it lights your internal fire, Pluto is clearing away the structures that were built on illusion and false identities. So not every movement, idea, emotional surge, virtue signal, it's not aligned with truth. And discernment matters more than passion right now. And Neptune in Aries teaches us that. It's not about blind action. It's about living from sovereignty with clarity, responsibility, and with courage. It's about shining in your light, standing in your light, and being proud of it and not being worried about what others think. This is where it's about taking that empathy of Neptune and Pisces and applying it to everyone that is in our orbit and in our world, saying those might be your beliefs, but they're not mine. But I'm not going to fight you on that, right? I'm going to put my energy into making the world a better place in the only way that I know how. And that's not based on violence and things along those lines. It's around shining in your inner light and being the best at whatever it is that you're the best at. This is the start of a new era, both personally and culturally. It's about stepping into your own truth, acting on your beliefs, and expressing your creativity in a way that feels deeply authentic. If you want to understand how Neptune and Aries and all of these bigger cycles are personally affecting you and your specific chart, I do one-on-one astrology readings that really go deeper into your timing, your transits, and what this era is asking of you and your chart specifically. So you can book a session in the link below. And if you want a practical way to work with these energies all year long, my 2026 astrology planner and workbook that I designed is literally 10 years in the making of making these things. It helps you track all these cycles, all these major transits, journal about them, keep track of your growth, see how it impacts your chart. I have that linked below as well too. But I also have 1 minute videos that are going to be in my shorts that you can look at if you want to see how this impacts your specific sun sign. So watch your sun, moon, and rising, and that'll give you a better picture on that. But this is definitely one of those transits we'll revisit a number of times, right? Because this is a long, long transit, and they always make their biggest impact when they first come in and when they leave. So I feel that 2026 is a really interesting year filled with shift and change, and I know that you all agree. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.